Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, Kamaru Usman will not fight Shavkat Rakhmonov unless it's for the title. Chandler and GSP hail Alexander Volkanovski as the world's best fighter. Israel Adesanya posts new training photos with Mark Zuckerberg. And Garry gets real personal with Geoff Neal. Kamaru Usman will not fight Shavkat Rakhmonov unless it's for the title. Hatching plans to recapture his 170-pound crown, Kamaru Usman is willing to take on anybody and has even called for a fight against scary Khamzat Chimaev. But one fighter in particular is not on the Nigerian Nightmares list. The fighter is 6th-ranked welterweight Shavkat Rakhmonov, with whom he shares a coach and has trained with several times. Usman has been absent from the octagon since his fight at UFC 286, where he traveled to London to reclaim the title he had previously lost to Leon Edwards. He failed and since then has been demanding any fight that would get him back in title contention. Amid speculation surrounding Usman's next opponent, there was a period where a potential matchup with the rising star Khamzat Chimaev seemed likely. But in a recent discussion during International Fight Week, the Nigerian Nightmare delved into the possibility of facing another undefeated welterweight sensation, Shavkat Rakhmonov. He shed light on the condition that would prompt him to accept the fight.
Yeah, it's a fight I would take for the title. I mean, that's the thing is, at the end of the day, every man wants to be the champion. Like we get into this, when you get to the top of the sport, you want to be a champion. You know, so who am I to deny him when I'm the champion, deny him of a shot at the championship? You know, I'm not. But if it's not for the championship and we happen to train with the exact same coach, like why? What's the point?
Shavkat, on the other hand, is slated to fight former middleweight challenger Kelvin Gastelum in the co-main event of the UFC Fight Night, which will take place on September 16th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. But in the meantime, Usman is looking at the other choices. While acknowledging that Belal Muhammad could be his next opponent, the 36-year-old former champion made it clear that he expects Chimaev to back up his words with his actions or step aside.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now the only other name that's out there is probably Belal. You know, I mean, who else makes sense? It's Belal. So, you know, Khamzat is, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, this guy keeps flirting with me online. You know, he's flirting back and forth with me online. At this point, he's just using me for clout. You know, if you want to fight, cut the weight and let's fight. If not, stop using me for clout. Stop flirting with me online.
Garry gets very personal with Geoff Neal. Propping up to be the next Conor McGregor, Ian Machado Garry could be the next big thing for Ireland, and he seems to have taken a page from his more famous countryman in Conor McGregor. Garry is looking to break into the top 10 after his next bout against 8th-ranked Geoff Neal, and he made that build-up to UFC 292 a lot more personal. The 12-0 welterweight decided to print out shirts with Neal's mugshot on it, along with his nickname, The Future. Garry proudly wore the shirt to UFC events for this past weekend's International Fight Week, and also started selling them on his website, but not without some context. Neal was arrested back in 2021 and charged with a DUI and weapons offenses. While Garry might have only done this to sell the fight, Neal's family didn't appreciate that incident being used not only to market the fight, but to make money off of as well. Neal's father even got involved. He claimed that the Dublin-born striker was dead when they shared the octagon at UFC 292 in August, labeling the 25-year-old as straight trash. Garry earned the number 13th rank in the official welterweight pile back in May on the main card of UFC Fight Night Columbus, turning in a one-sided opening round high kick and strikes TKO win over Daniel Rodriguez. As for Neal, the Dana White Contender Series alumni most recently featured at UFC 285 back in March against an unbeaten Shavkat Rakhmonov, suffering an eventual third-round standing rear naked choke defeat. Neal has since retained the number 8 rank in the official welterweight stack, and Garry could be looking to take his spot. Chandler and GSP hail Alexander Volkanovski as the world's best fighter. Having dominated his fight against Yair Rodriguez, Alexander Volkanovski has risen to the number 1 on the UFC's pound-for-pound rankings, and UFC lightweight Michael Chandler can't help but shower praises on him. But Chandler is not the only one feeling this way.
Is Alexander Volkanovski unbeatable? Alexander the Great is just that. I break it down to 3 C's of why I think Alexander Volkanovski is the most unbeatable, not just unbeatable champion, but the most unbeatable guy in the entire world. There's a reason why he's the pound for pound number 1. I break it down to 3 C's: completeness, cardio, and composure. He is the most complete fighter that we have on the roster in the UFC, the most complete fighter in the entire world. The ability to be at home and be 2 to 3 to 4 steps ahead of his opponents in every single position in a fight. On the feet, navigating and negotiating the distance, navigating and negotiating the striking, his plethora of strikes that he has, very basic. He doesn't try to get crazy out of his comfort zone, even with how dominant he has.
Georges St-Pierre, who is undoubtedly one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time, feels Volkanovski's run of success in the octagon is similar to the path he took during his Hall of Fame career. Speaking on the MMA Hour, he gave his thoughts on the current #1 pound-for-pound fighter.
The way I see Alex Volkanovski is he's not a specialist. He's very good everywhere. And me, when I was fighting, that was my strength. I was not the best at something, but I was good everywhere. So I was able to become the perfect nemesis to my opponent. And I think he's using a similar, a similar strategy. When he fights someone, he takes always his opponent outside of his comfort zone.
Volkanovski is unbeaten at 145 pounds and has defended his belt 5 times. The lone blemish of his UFC career came against lightweight champ Islam Makhachev in February, in which Volkanovski pushed him to the brink in a close decision loss. However, not everybody seems to agree with the split decision verdict, scoring the fight instead for the Aussie. For now, Volkanovski has a few options. Unbeaten rising star Ilia Topuria awaits at featherweight, and a rematch with Makhachev at UFC 294 on October 21 is also possible. Also, there are talks of bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling moving up a division to face Volk. Israel Adesanya posts new training photos with Mark Zuckerberg. Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are 2 of the richest men in the world, and with their wealth, they have lots of great friends. The banter between the tech moguls began when Elon Musk threw down the request, challenging Mark Zuckerberg to a cage fight. While some viewed it as playful banter between the influential figures, the anticipation surrounding this unlikely showdown continued to grow. But it was Musk who first requested outside help in preparation for the fight. Musk was spotted engaging in sparring with UFC legend Georges St-Pierre, but little did he know that Zuckerberg had plans to train with 2 of the top 5 best MMA fighters today. In a post by The Last Stylebender, the Meta CEO was recently spotted engaging in a training session alongside 2 UFC champions, Israel Adesanya and Alexander Volkanovski. Adesanya captioned the post, "No Fugazi with Mark. This is serious business." To which Zuckerberg replied, "It's an honor to train with you guys." Again, more recently, the Stylebender posted a series of 4 photos showing a personal training session he had with the tech billionaire. He captioned the post, "We both have South Africans to deal with. Hashtag say less, do more. Hashtag threads. Hashtag stitch 'em up." The post is in reference to Musk's South African heritage and touched on his rivalry with South African Dricus du Plessis. As regards with the Musk vs. Zuck fight, whether it happens, Dana White is on the record as willing to help set up the pay-per-view event for it. Hey guys, if you'd like to continue watching our videos, kindly subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like and comment.